Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shelby Burgess,
And I'm Drew Givens.
and this is God's Eye View.
I would like to start today by mentioning that today is a lot of national days. We like to start this show mentioning what the national days are. Today is National Chocolate Cupcake Day. Today is Medical Assistance Appreciation Day. And today is National No Beer Day. National Cupcake Day without having the best kind of cupcake is an issue. Because I get it. Everybody needs their own special day to have, your favorite kind of cupcake. But when it's not my cupcake day, and I hate the kind of cupcake that it's the National Cupcake Day for, I can't appreciate the cupcake. I just can't. And I have a beard, so I'm offended as well. I don't know what to think about that. But as far as Medical Assistance Appreciation Day goes, I think we all need to appreciate everybody in the medical field. Speaking of medical field, we have a medical examiner on campus today. So make sure you stop by and appreciate her today. What do you have today, Shelby?
I am going to open us in a devotion. This comes from Matthew 28, verse 16 through 20. The 11 disciples traveled to Galilee, to the mountains where Jesus had directed them. When they saw him, they worshipped, but some doubted. Then Jesus came near and said to them, "All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go, therefore, make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe everything I have commanded you. And remember, I am with you always to the end of age." This is the Great Commission. This is Jesus telling us to go out into the field and win souls. And this is something that I feel like we should take into account every day, that every day we're on this planet, this is a mission field. And I feel like that needs to be our main focus as we go about our day. Drew, we have some very, very, very intriguing topics today. Drew, I read this article, and I'm just sitting here thinking, this person, this is just nacho day.
Nacho Day. Is that cheesy?
No, that is a cheesy joke. Why is that a cheesy joke? Because a woman attacks a 7-Eleven clerk with hot nacho cheese.
What?
Okay, so the article reads, a Florida woman was busted for allegedly lobbing hot nacho cheese and a sandwich at a 7-Eleven clerk while protesting, "The customer is always right," during the hangry altercation.
Lord have mercy.
And there's even a Facebook post about this. And I learned about this. Okay, you ever heard the phrase Florida man? The superhero Florida man?
No.
Okay, so whenever you hear a funny news article and it always starts with Florida man and then it's some outrageous thing, they basically the internet has compiled all of those articles to make one superhero called Florida Man. Neither the hero you needed nor wanted. It's super funny. But I found in this article, that there is a Facebook page called Florida Woman, and they did a little post on this girl. She is, I believe, 31. Whose cheese? Nacho cheese. They said the customer is always right. However, in the case of Florida woman who was tossed nacho cheese at 7-Eleven clerk, Melbourne police couldn't disagree more. It was around 1:50 a.m. on Thursday when Stephanie L. Hicks, 31, walked into a 7-Eleven store on Melbourne to buy a sandwich and a cup of nacho cheese, but the Palm Daily reported. The cashier told Hicks not to open the cheese dispenser, but the hungry woman ignored her request. Hicks proceeded to open it anyway and went up to pay for items, only to be denied service by the employee. When Hicks launched the sandwich and nacho cheese across the counter at the clerk. As the food traveled through the air, Hicks yelled, "The customer is always right."
Wow. So my question to you would be, is the customer always right?
No. Lord, no.
As time goes by, you start to see a lot of places go by the slogan, "The customer is always right." So why is that?
That's basically a way to please the customer. Um, it's that way. It's in customer service and whatnot. That if you're pleasing your customer, then they'll most likely come back for more service. And if there's a discretion between the customer and what your procedures are, you need to follow your procedures as far as the limits will take you to satisfy that customer, because that's the whole marketing thing. Customers are always right is a huge marketing thing.
Well, when I used to work at Six Flags, because I did work at Six Flags, we were given the ability to take away people's privileges as far as the ride goes, because I was a ride operator. The reaction was not the best.
I could tell.
But we always had to speak to people in a respectful way.
Yes, that is key.
The hardest part about it is that rather they believe it or not, they want to say the customer is always right. But at the same time, if you go and you have a responsibility, as it's your job, your responsibility is to do what you're told. So some of the times it's like they're telling you that the customer is always right, but you have to go by a certain thing to make sure that you still have a job at the end of the day.
You need to follow the rules before you follow the morals, is basically what you're saying.
Correct.
Yes. I read this article. I saw this on the Fox News editor's picks, and I just laughed and laughed and laughed. I mean, can you imagine? It doesn't say that it hurt the employee at all, but I've got to imagine some hot nacho cheese with that would burn you.
But why cheese?
Well, because she was. Why would you get hot nacho cheese at 1:50 in the morning?
That's the question.
Why wouldn't you get hot nacho cheese at 1:50 in the morning with your sandwich? It depends on what kind of sandwich. The article doesn't say what kind of sandwich, but now I'm kind of wondering what kind of sandwich goes with hot nacho cheese.
See, but you also have to think about it this way. One, if you just got cheese and didn't get any salsa, that's an issue. Two, if you got a sandwich and then you ask for cheese in a different cup, that's an issue. So what did you think was going to happen? She was just going to drink the cheese out of the cup or something?
No. You dip, if it's a ham and cheese melt or something like that, you dip the sandwich in nacho cheese.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe she has some chips at home.
But so she decided to go to her local 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Go get a sandwich and some chips.
No chips. Just a sandwich and some cheese.
Just cheese?
Yeah, the sandwich and nacho cheese.
Shelby. I don't know how I feel about that.
Speaking of 7-Eleven, this is something that bothers me. In alien movies, in modern day alien movies, okay? Why is there always a 7-Eleven? Have you noticed that?
Yes.
There is always a 7-Eleven in all alien movies.
A lot of crazy things happen in 7-Eleven.
Why? I don't understand why it's 7-Eleven. Is 7-Eleven just this warp of time-space which just causes all improbabilities to become probable? It's just...
I always thought about it as, 7-Eleven is so old that, I can't even remember the last time I didn't see a 7-Eleven. So, I guess it would be awkward to see a shell inside of a horror movie or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. Our next topic is actually two articles that we're compiling into one. And this article, what we've compiled is called Technology. Because, why do I say no? Because comedian Will Ferrell stars in new PSA to end device addiction. And the other article is McDonald's in Singapore installs phone lockers to encourage family bonding. I'm going to look at the McDonald's one first and then go to Will Ferrell. When you go to McDonald's, do you normally go inside or go to the drive-thru?
Normally I go inside.
Okay. Who are you with?
I'm with my mom and my sister and my brother.
Okay. Are you sitting down to have a nice family dinner, or are you sitting down because it's McDonald's and it's fast food?
Just to sit down.
Yeah. Because
just because it's fast food.
Exactly. So when you go to McDonald's, you're not planning to have a nice family dinner. So, I don't know. I don't like that this whole phone... I probably sound like a raging millennial right now about about anti-device addiction. But the thing is, I mean, that you can see the picture of these lockers right here. I believe there's little keys and whatnot. It looks like there's keys, and I think you might have to buy them. I don't know if you have to buy them or not.
Yes.
You do have to buy them. Article.
Yes.
How much are they? Do you know?
They didn't tell me a price, but I did take note that you do have to pay for them. That's their way of trying to get extra money and encourage bonding in families. Their way of trying to get extra people to come into McDonald's. I appreciated it, but I mean, I don't think it's for me. If I'm having to pay to bond with family, I might as well not go.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at articles like this, I laugh because, one, if I'm spending money on something that's not like an expensive restaurant like Olive Garden or Red Lobster, and not only that, but I'm having to pay to put my phone somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do it. I won't. I can't.
And see, I don't know. I'm just not crazy about this whole thing. I don't find it effective or necessary.
I agree. I don't see a reason to have it. I do understand what it's for.
Yes.
I understand its logic, but sometimes,
There's a difference between theory and application.
yeah,
The theory is good. The application just falls through.
yeah.
I just don't. Comedian Will Ferrell wants to stop kids using their mobile devices at the dinner table. So more dinner table things. But see, this says dinner table,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one was at McDonald's. That's like,
Mm-hmm.
do you classify McDonald's as a dinner table meal? If you're in a McDonald's.
Well, really, if you really want to talk about it, McDonald's is more of a snack than a meal.
For real.
So,
Well, I don't know. They got that 2 for $5 deal, and I get me 2 Big Macs and a large chocolate milkshake, and that satisfies.
I've never actually had the 2 for $5.
The 2 for $5 meal was good. I believe they still have the Big Macs. They had the Big Macs for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and then they took Big Macs off the 2 for $5 menu. I was like, what am I supposed to get now? A Big Mac, a regular Big Mac with some fries and a chocolate shake?
Get some nuggets.
No, I'm
Get
not.
some nuggets.
I'm not a Nuggets person. And then they came out with that Grand Mac. I was not a big fan of that. It tasted
So
redundant.
you're a fan of the Big Mac, but not the Grand Mac.
Didn't they get rid of the Grand Mac?
They did.
Yeah, because it wasn't that popular. Because it just was kind of redundant.
Yeah. I see your logic.
It didn't even taste as good as a Big Mac. But I think they have brought Big Macs back recently on the 2 for $5. I could be wrong. So Will Ferrell, the actor, teamed up with the nonprofit Common Sense in a series of PSA's announcements released Thursday, encouraging families to put devices down during dinner. According to a new study released by the organization, there has been a spike in the number of children from birth to 8 years old that have their own tablet device at 42%, up
What?
from 1% in 2011. The amount of time children spend with their mobile devices is also spiking from just 5 minutes in 2011 to around 48 minutes today. The data is based on large, nationally representative sample of respondents and replicates methods from 2011 and 2013 to gauge how media environments and behaviors have changed over the years. Now, I will say that there is a huge technological difference between now and 2011. Technology has become more accessible, and technology has become more updated since 2011. Therefore, you should expect a spike in usage and extent of usage. Because in 2011, what were we doing? 2011, I remember 2012 was middle school, high school, like 9th, 8th grade. So 2011 would have been around 7th grade. People were still using flip phones back then.
Right.
And so flip phones were the majority of what was being used. iPhones rolled out in like 2007-ish, 2000.
I want to say really it came out, like the very first one came out in
2003. And see, that was still basic, small, and then by 2011 you had gained some traction, I do believe, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how relevant that would be, though.
So let me ask you, Shelby, are you addicted to your phone?
No, I don't believe in, I don't believe in addiction to
Would you like
phones.
to take a quick quiz?
Oh, goodness. Is this a BuzzFeed thing?
I'm just gonna ask you 3 questions.
3 questions. All right.
How long do you stay on your phone on a normal day?
I have no idea.
How long, on average, how long do you think you stay on your phone on an average day?
Lord. What defines day? A
Uh-oh.
24-hour period?
24-hour period.
So within a 24-hour period. 3, 5. I don't know, because I watch a lot on Netflix late at night.
I'm gonna let you think about that. Let's go to the second question.
Okay.
How long would you spend looking for your phone if you lost it?
A decent amount of time. I mean, I would kind of look for it until I had to go to class, or it was such a pressing matter that I had to leave, because it's a valuable piece of technology. I'm just not going to throw $300 down the drain or something like that.
Could you survive 2 weeks without a phone?
2 weeks without a phone.
Solid.
Do I still have my computer?
No.
2 weeks without
It's technology, but you know what? I'll give you your computer.
Okay,
But no
because I
phone.
kind of have to use my computer to do some homework and whatnot. So 2 weeks without my phone, which means I am unplugged from any news that is going on within the theater department.
Well, I mean, unless you're on your computer or your TV.
That does, yeah, because you do get group me on your computer.
That means no Facebook, no chat snapping.
I don't use Facebook, Snapchats. I could go 2 weeks without Snapchat. I mean, I would just be kept out of the loop. I would have to be kept out of the loop from Snapchat tag that's going on right now.
Right. What is Snapchat tag?
Okay, so we have created this little thing called Snapchat tag in the theater department. I believe I came up with the idea like a month or so ago, but it's just now coming to effect. It's where everybody that wants to participate, that's in our little theater department and whatnot, is in this Snapchat group. And so what we do is we have to catch people in this Snapchat group unaware. And so we have to take a picture of them unaware, and then we have to say so-and-so is it once we tag them, and then it just, it keeps going around and around. But I'd be kept out of the loop with that, which means I'd probably have to leave that group for the duration of 2 weeks. That way I wouldn't affect the play and whatnot. As far as TV shows, I could probably keep up with my TV shows on my computer. Text messages, I don't text that often anyway. I mean, yeah, I could survive 2 weeks without it. Do I want to, and am I going to? No. Could I? Maybe.
Maybe. So let me ask you again. Very first question. How long do you stay on your phone?
1, 2, 3 episodes.
This includes shows, calling people, texting people, social media in general, on your cell phone, any type of.
All right, let's average from 3 to 5 shows. Let's say 4 Netflix shows. Netflix TV series. So let's put that at, let's see, each show roughly is about a 45-minute drama. So that's going to turn out to what, hour and a half, 3 hours?
Yep.
So let's go ahead and curb that at 3 hours for Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Snapchats, text messages, and calls. I could group that into another 30 minutes. So we're talking 3 hours and 30 minutes. And as far as like social medias like iFunny and Instagram go, we can group those into about, let's go to that into 15 minutes. So that's what, 3 hours, 45 minutes, and let's just curb it to 4 hours just for curbing sake.
Groovy. So let me ask you this. How long does your phone survive for?
How long does the battery last?
Yes.
From when I wake up in the morning, once I get back to my room at night, I'm hitting like 1%. So it lasts me pretty much all day.
So that would answer my last question. How many times do you charge your phone on a normal day?
1.5 average.
1.5. Not bad.
Yeah.
So
because I have a Samsung. I have a Samsung.
You have a Samsung.
Yeah, Samsungs actually have batteries as opposed to Apples. That's why. That's why I have to. We're not going to go into that. But
let me ask you this: do you have the new update? Do y'all get updates?
like iOS updates that ruin everybody's phones and drains their battery and whatnot.
Okay, we're
All right,
going into this.
No, we're not. We're sticking. We're going back to Will Ferrell. Okay, we're going back. We're not. We've already had this debate, and I already won.
This will come back up.
According to parents, nearly half, 49% of children at age 8 or under often or sometimes watch TV or videos or play video games in the hour before bedtime, contrary to recommendations from pediatricians. Additionally, about 1 in 10 kids are age 8 or under have a smart toy that connects to the internet or voice-activated virtual assistant device available to them in the home, such as an Amazon Echo or a Google Home. Speaking of Google Homes, my 2-year-old little brother, whenever we say, "Okay, Google," he will run around going, "Google, Google, 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 Google," and run up to the Google Home. It's so funny.
When I was 6, I had a Tickle Me Elmo.
What
It
is-
connected to the internet, I think.
What is that?
You've never had a Tickle Me Elmo.
It sounds terrifying.
Dude, when I was younger, Tickle Me Elmos was the thing. Like, it was life. If you didn't have a Tickle Me Elmo, you weren't real.
I guess I'm imaginary. Imagination.
You and SpongeBob.
Yes. Yeah, it's the article goes on in today's tech-driven world where things are moving so quickly. It is really important to step back and take a hard look at what technology kids are using and how they are using it. If we want to ensure our kids develop well and are successful in life, we have to make sure they get the most out of tech while protecting them from potential risks, and that means paying close attention to the role media is playing in their lives. Okay, let's talk about technological addiction. Technological addiction is when you are dependent on technology so everyone is dependent on technology, okay? Let me just say that right now. If everybody took one day off from the internet, the world would burn.
Yes, it would.
The world would burn. Can you imagine one day if there was a giant red button that someone pressed it and the internet shut down for 24 hours? Can you imagine what chaos would break out? Anarchy. So if you want to talk about technological addiction, you might as well stop talking about children and stop talking about dinner table phones and go ahead and talk about the whole world, okay? Because we are not technologically addicted, we're technologically dependent, and that is two separate things.
Well, is it possible that some of the world is one way and some of the world is the other?
You talking about in poor countries where they don't have phones?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, here too.
as a rule, my family never brought our phones to the table. My parents did sometimes when they had to check stuff, but as far as technology at our dinner table, it wasn't allowed. I mean, I don't think it's such a big deal anymore, but that was always a rule back in our house, and I survived. So I understand where they're coming from when they want to put the phones in the basket thing, the hashtag device free dinner. I understand that, and that is good for family bonding and whatnot. What I don't like is slapping the words technology addiction on it. That is what I do not like.
That's fair. I'm gonna wrap a couple things up real quick. This week has been pretty long for me. I would like to share a couple lessons that really I had to take into account that maybe some of you already know, but it really hit me that I needed to hit on these points. So here they are. Point number 1 is that we all need to start to take care of ourselves a lot more. A lot of stuff is going on right now where, sometimes you feel alone and sometimes you get exhausted and sometimes you're working so hard that you don't really take into account what's going on. So I think it's fair to say that everybody can take care of themselves a little bit better than they are right now. My second point is life is too short. Recently, I've had a lot of people come to me and talk to me. I've been having a pretty long week. I've had a couple friends pass this week, and it's been pretty rough. As you see, I've been in college for what, 3 months now?
I believe so.
About 3 months now, and I've seen at least 4 or 5 of my friends pass that I've not been able to go to their funerals or experience their presence. I haven't been in their presence, and it's really heartbreaking to see that somebody that you've known for years is passing. So make sure that you take into account that life is too short. So the next time you're stressed or you're upset, just make sure you understand that life is too short to live that way. Try to live a little bit more happier. My last point is love within another level. I feel like no matter what's going on, people need to feel loved. People need to feel appreciated. And it's a lot of stuff that comes with that. But as long as you show your love and appreciation for other people, I feel like they can show love and appreciation back to you. And a lot of the time that comes with time. And you'll understand that as time goes on. But for right now, if all you ever hear from another person is I love you, it goes the extra mile. Shelby?
A couple lessons that I want to wrap up as well is that in your day-to-day life, please, please, please take the time each morning to just sit alone, maybe do a small devotion, and just be in God's presence and pray with Him. It will change your outlook on the rest of the day, and it will change your mood for the rest of the day. If you do it at night, that is okay. But what I have personally experienced by doing it at night is that I have had the stress of the day, and I dump all of it on God, and I say, I want this to be this way, I want this to be that way, and I never take the time to just say, your will, your will. And I feel like I need to do a better job of that personally, and I feel like we need to do a better job of that as Christians. I feel like a time in the morning would be better because you can say, God, these are the things I have to do today. Please help me to get them done, and please help me as always to walk in your will. And I feel like that needs to be our focal point of the day. That needs to be the thing that starts us off. We roll out of the bed and we roll onto our knees. That's a good one. I'm going to use that. I just came up with that on the spot. I'm going to use that for now. That is all the time that we have for today. Signing off, my name is Shelby Burgess.
I'm Drew Givens.
And this has been God's Eye View.
See ya.
Have a good one.